In this lecture, I'm going to show you how to configure a floating static route. So with the previous lectures, we've discussed static routes and default routes. Now a floating static route is, as the name suggests, a static route, but it's typically used for backup links when a primary link goes down. So for example, in this topology here, there's host 1, and it uses applications on server 1. And server 1 is in subnet 172.16.3.0, and it's assigned 3.1. So if you go to 2.0, that interface is 3.2. So this inside interface is 3.0 subnet. Then the routers are all interconnected with 192.168 IP addressing, and host 1 is also using 172.16, but it's on one subnet. So if I go to branch 1, I'm going to sign on here, and I'm going to look at the routing table. So we'll go show IP route. And looking at the routing table, if I want to know how routing is occurring to get a packet from host 1 to server 1, I have to look at the subnets. So in this example here, C is for connected routes, and they're routes that branch 1 knows about that are directly connected. And 172.16.10 is an example. That's the host 1 subnet. And 192.168.1.0, that's actually the connection to router 3. So these are our RIP routes. So RIP is Dynamic Routing Protocol. And there are some routes here, and to get to 172.16.3.0, router 1 is actually using a RIP router, and there it is there. So it's being advertised by RIP v2 actually. So if host 1 sends a packet to server 1, how is it going to get there? It's actually going to take, so if I'm looking at 172.16.3.0, 120 is the administrative distance of RIP route, and 1 is the hop, the metric. And so it's going to take 1.2, and it's going to use the exit interface 00. So 1.2, that's the interface on DC100. So any packets they arrive, it'll do the lookup and forward them to DC1. So in this example here, what I want to do is, if a link goes down, for example, between branch 1 and DC1, this link that it currently is using to get to server 1, I want to configure a floating static route that is only used when that link goes down. So I have to give it it's a static route with a higher administrative distance than the RIP route. So it has to be higher than 120. If it's higher than 120, then it won't be installed unless the RIP route is not in the routing table, and that would occur when the link goes down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to install a floating static route, and I'm going to tell it to take this link between branch 1 and router 1 when this link between branch 1 and DC1 is down. So it's a backup or alternate route to get to DC1 and over to server 1. So to do that, what I do is I'm going to configure terminal, and I'm going to go IP route. It's a global command, and I'm going to go 172.16.3.0. So that's the destination subnet. I'm telling it where the packet's going to go. The link's down. That's the server subnet. So 172.16.3.0, and I want to tell it to take 192.168.3.2, and I'll make it 200 for administrative distance. So it's only installed in the routing table when the RIP route is not available. So the 3.2, that's actually this interface here, 2.0 on router 1. So go here, it's 3.2. So this is a 3 subnet here that connects them. And that's really all there is to it. So now what I'll do is I'll go show IP route. And you'll notice that there's no the route, the floating static route is not in there yet. It's actually hasn't happened yet. So what I should do is if I turn off 00 on branch 1 and then test it. interface FA00 and make sure it is 00. Yeah. And I'll do shut. Just want to make sure that is shut down. So it is. So what happens is now I want to do a ping from host 1 to server 1. I can even just do a ping right now. And there it is there. So I'm pinging 3.1, that's the server from the host. And so I'm getting replies. So with that interface 00 shutdown, I'll show you again that it is show IP interface brief, and 00 is shut down, administratively down, so it's not active. So if I go show IP route here, and there it is there. That so 172.16.3.0 to get to that destination, it's taking 3.2, and 2.0 is the exit interface. So it's taking this interface right here. And that's how a floating static route works. And what would happen is if this link comes back up again, the RIP route would be used. So that concludes the floating static route.